Hello there, I'm Scotty, and you're not. And I pulled that video game movie, and after mowing it over and trying to figure out what I was going to do, because I did a bunch of them for the entire week at the beginning of the month, I settled on Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge. It's an animated movie. Sometimes animated movies can be good, sometimes I just sit through them and I'm just like, okay, why am I watching this? No, don't get me wrong, I love animated stuff. This, I think, was decently made. I have problems with it. It basically tells the basic story, the Mortal Kombat tournament, and the backstory of Scorpion. You know, he was Hanzo Sasashi. He had a family. They were murdered, and then he was murdered, supposedly by Sub-Zero. And then he was taken to Netherworld, and he was recruited by Quan Chi to fight in the Mortal Kombat tournament, according to this film. So there you go. Then we have our other main characters. We have, Liu Kang, Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage, Raiden, even Jax is in here. And you see other characters like Kitana, Notaro, whatever. Goro, Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn is in this at the end. Baraka, who actually wasn't in the first Mortal Kombat tournament, but each his own. And Sub-Zero, of course. Excuse me. And I mentioned Sub-Zero twice because there's a twist. So this whole thing is a tournament. You know the tournament. You gotta fight the tournament. You gotta win. Earthrealm wins. They go away, but it seems like, Outworld, they've won 9 tournaments, so they win this one and they can take over the world. Of course, that's the wrong video game movie. But so for the most part, I did enjoy this. I did have some little quips, little things. Like there's gore in this, which is fine, but I feel like because it's animated, they went too over the top. But like the gore in the video games is decent, but I feel like this goes a little bit over the top. Like they saw this and they were like, people complained at the Mortal Kombat movies. Because I think this came out before the theatrical one. The new one? I can't tell, man. 2020. And Mortal Kombat came out, the other one came out in 2021. So yeah, like they were saying, they complained there's no gore in those movies. So let's give it to them. And this is a little over the top. You see like entrails and stuff. And I mean, it's very much Mortal Kombat, but sometimes it goes a little bit too far. It's like, like there you see a body laying there, and there's like a bunch of guts and entrails just laying there. It's like, okay. Okay, that. And it's really, that's the only reason why it's rated R. There's some language in here. You get a couple F-bombs, but The other problem I have is with Johnny Cage. If you guys know, you guys should know, Johnny Cage is my favorite Mortal Kombat character. Based mostly on the first movie, but he's my favorite Mortal Kombat character. And here, though, they make him a fucking idiot. And almost the entire time he's there, like when he first gets there, he believes it's a movie shoot. For some reason. And no one ever stops and says, hey, this isn't a movie, this is real. Even Raiden knows that he thinks it's a movie, and it's like, he's just like, I find it hilarious, or I find it amusing. Or I'm just like, really? You know, him not being aware that this stuff is real could get him killed. And they just have him be a stupid idiot. He has a fight with Baraka in this. And it's the worst fight in the movie, because all he does is run away from him. And then there's a line that really made me furious. He's like, I don't do this fighting stuff. I usually have stunt people for that. I'm like, no, fuck no. Johnny Cage is one of the greatest fighters in the world. That's why he was recruited. Why the hell do you have him here if he's not a fighter? If his stunt people do all the work? It doesn't make any sense. Other than, oh, he's Johnny Cage, he has to be in this, but you don't write him like he's Johnny Cage. You write him like this idiot, egotistical actor, and I get it. Johnny Cage has an ego, he's egotistical, he's cocky, but he's not an idiot. Not completely. He has his moments, but this movie plays him like he's a complete and total fuck up. Like he has no. And what's worse is they keep doing this thing where he tries to talk to Sonya or something, and she keeps kicking him in the nuts, and it's like, stop it. No. Why? Why is Johnny Cage is supposed to be the comic relief? He's not your comedic fodder, though. He doesn't need to get hurt or kicked in the nuts or all this stupid stuff happened for him to be comedy. The comedic character. No. He can be funny. Look at Lyndon Ashby's portrayal of Johnny Cage in the movie. He had a little bit of stupidity, but he was funny without having to be humiliated, other than the falling into the, having his luggage be thrown in the water. But still, it's just, I don't like how they portray Johnny Cage in this. And yeah, you get the basic setup, the tournament, but no bracket. Like, no, I guess the movie just can't have a bracket, I guess. And, like I said, you have Johnny Cage versus Baraka that ends with the sparks from Baraka's blades igniting the gunpowder that's in there and burning the castle down. The castle falling on top of Baraka, in which Johnny Cage says, "Toasty." Doesn't even say it right. Toasty. Just toasty. There are a couple lines that get me with Johnny Cage. I don't remember what they were, but they did. I'm like, okay, that's funny. That's funny. Other than that, not so much. Then you have Sonya Blade versus, who the fuck does she face? Kano? It's Kano. No, it's not Kano. Who the fuck does she face? Really? It's not Notaro. I really don't remember. She has a fight in the woods, right? She has a fight in the woods. Reptile, that's right, it's Reptile. Took me because it's so inconsequential, it's the only scene Reptile's in, but yeah, it's Reptile. And it's this whole, he's invisible for most of the time, but which is animated, so you don't need to do that, but you do that anyway. And she defeats him, and then Liu Kang versus Katana for some reason. And it always gets me with this, because it got me in the first movie and gets me here. This is a tournament where you have to, the whole point is Mortal Kombat, which means to defeat your opponent, you have to kill them. But both versions, they do this, where he has to face Katana because so they can talk. But there's been no interface between them before this. It's just like, what makes you think you can defeat him? I have hope. I yield. Is that even legal in this tournament? I don't know. But she's able to walk off, and then we don't see her again for the rest of the movie. She's not a main character. She's just gone. And then instead of, because, this is the only fights we're going to show, and we can't have them fight each other, because they'll just yield, and they're not going to kill themselves, we got to introduce the Black Dragons to come in here, and led by Kano. So they can come in here, and then Scorpion kills them. Scorpion fights against a random Lin Kuei soldier. Then they're like, okay, we have to fight because it's Mortal Kombat. And then he's like, hey, they didn't declare Mortal Kombat. Did you? Scorpion, did you? So he said no. And so they have a fire, and he's like, next time I see you, it will not turn out well. And then the next time he sees them, he's helping them fight the Black Dragon gang. Yeah. And eventually, Scorpion, he confronts Sub-Zero. But it's very clear Sub-Zero has no idea who he is or what he's talking about. He kills Sub-Zero only for it to be revealed that it was Quan Chi who killed his family and him, which in the games it was retconned to reveal that Quan Chi killed his family, but Sub-Zero was, in fact, behind killing him. Because I think in the game they occurred at different times. His family was killed and he went on for a revenge mission and fought Sub-Zero, and Sub-Zero killed him, I believe. I'm not exactly sure, but in this one, Quan Chi just killed all of them. So, Sub-Zero was kind of wasted in this. Bihan Sub-Zero was kind of wasted in this, to be honest. But yeah, and then we have Liu Kang versus Garro, and if it wasn't obvious that this was Scorpion's movie, Liu Kang is getting his ass kicked against Garro, which is not supposed to happen. And so Scorpion has to come in and save him. And it's like they're writing this, like, okay, Garro versus Liu Kang. Liu Kang's supposed to win. No, this is Scorpion's movie. He has to do it. Even though it's illegal and it's technically cheating, it happens anyway. And there's no fight with Shang Tsung because Quan Chi shows up. And that's the big fight between Quan Chi and Sub-Zero. And Sub-Zero kills Quan Chi, rips his head out, which is a Sub-Zero move, but Scorpion. And then he does the fire breathing thing, the hellfire thing, and yeah. And then we're left off with a cliffhanger showing, saying that, oh, you didn't win, but your destiny is not to beat Garro, your destiny is to beat Shang Tsung. Or Shao Kahn, is to beat Shao Kahn. It's like, okay. So obviously just setting him up to be the lead in the next one, which there is another one. Battle for the Realm or something like that, which eventually I'll get to. But I think that writing in that Scorpion, because the movie's about him, he has to be the one to defeat Garro, kind of undermines the whole point that Liu Kang is supposed to be the chosen one. Why is it Liu Kang keeps getting the shaft in these modern movies? First, they give his story arc to Cole Young in the remake, and then there's this. It's just like, Liu Kang is supposed to be the main character in Mortal Kombat. Why can't you guys get this? Maybe the next one will be better. Maybe the next one will have more focus on that, hopefully. But this one just, I don't know. If this was supposed to be a Scorpion-led movie, then why couldn't you do this? Have a side story with Scorpion and us following him while the Mortal Kombat tournament is happening, and then finding out the truth. And then the second one could be like technically the same movie, but from the point of view of Liu Kang and his victories, so that Liu Kang can still have victory over Garro and fight Shang Tsung like he's supposed to, and you can have, Scorpion doing his thing on his path and finding out about Quan Chi and all that stuff. You don't have to undermine another character, the main character, just so you can have Scorpion come out on top. I'm just saying. So overall, it's middle of the road for me, but it's not bad. The animation is actually pretty good, but it's gonna be a middle of the road. So pick out the next one. I'm ready. Just give me one already. All right. Later on. Steven Seagal. I believe I have a movie picked out for that. It's the only one of his earlier movies that I haven't done yet. So what are your thoughts on Steven Seagal? What are your thoughts on Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge? Comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.